Yeah, great roll.
Okay. I feel so nervous. I've got a really awkward nervous laugh as well.
Brilliant. I hope someone's makes you nervous. So, welcome to whatever number of the Just Grind Listen to podcast. Actually been looking forward to doing this one. Like to say hello to Emma Grunnill. Emma, introduce yourself.
Well, in the world of Strongman.
Just in the world of the world.
The world of Emma Grunnill.
Yeah.
Well, I am England's strongest woman, third in Europe, third in the world. I own the latest Strongwoman club on the other side of Cumbria. I have a coaching business. I've been a personal trainer for 8 years. I now have 3 coaches working for me, and Harriet, who does all of our admin and everything. So growing all the time, super busy. Have a little dog called Pig, and that's pretty much my world in a nutshell.
Fantastic. So, we'll rip right in. Easy stuff first, easy stuff first.
Okay, good.
I have no idea why I was nervous. Did you have an active childhood?
No, I actually didn't. So that's a really good question, actually. I grew up in pubs, clubs and nightclubs, restaurants. We were in the trade of that for a lot of my life. And I am completely different to the rest of my family. My family are not active. So we moved to the Lake District. I didn't know whether to actually say this, but this is going to break Adam Rumney's heart. I'm not actually from Cumbria.
That's me. That is offended. You might knock it out of the wall. Where on earth are you from?
That's it. You're going to take a bite to me.
Yeah.
I'm from Liverpool. I'm from...
It's all a sham.
That's it. You're out of CSA. You're not a rep anymore.
Right.
Get out of the
So,
house.
thanks for that, man. We're nice seeing you. Fuck off and we'll see you again.
2 minutes in, first ball.
No, because how long have you been in Cumbria? Just before
Well,
I don't know whether we were kicking out or not.
This is the thing. I've been in Cumbria most of my life. We moved up to Cumbria when I was like 3. So I am Cumbrian.
Yeah.
And I've lived in Cumbria ever since, but we started off in Liverpool, and then our parents moved us up to Cumbria because they didn't want us to be brought up in Liverpool, basically. But then we were always in like pubs, restaurants, stuff like that, and it wasn't an active lifestyle. We weren't in the lakes or anything like that. It's only in my adult life that I have chosen this lifestyle and completely changed how I wanted to live. So.
And so, what was your inspiration for the change?
So when I was at secondary school, I was part of athletics teams and stuff. So I did shot put. That was my sport. I actually threw shot put for the North of England in secondary school, but. The inspiration. How deep are we going here?
Oh, deep as we can.
Oh god.
Absolute deep dive.
Okay, you asked for it. My inspiration really was in my early 20s. I've always been a very independent, solo kind of person, and I was living in a flat, and my life was absolute carnage. It was complete chaos. I had 4 jobs to like pay for the flat, and I was out 5 or 6 nights a week. I was doing lots of things that I shouldn't be doing, and I had a mental breakdown basically out of nowhere. And I think that it came from it hit me like a ton of bricks because I didn't know anything about mental health prior to that, so I didn't understand what was happening. But I think it was kind of a knock on, the straw that broke the camel's back was the amount that I was doing, because obviously when you don't look after yourself, something's got to give. The actual ins and outs of the reason that I broke down were not from working too much and stuff, but I went to the doctors because one of my friends said, I think you should, and all the doctor did was say, I'm going to put you on some antidepressants And at the time, not knowing anything, I just said, yeah, all right then. Like, didn't know any different. But they didn't ask me what about my lifestyle. They didn't ask me how much I was outside, how much I moved, which at the time was zero, because my life was drink and everything else and whatever. So, you know, it wasn't like it is now. So I went on to the antidepressants, but something wasn't sitting well with me. Like I didn't quite feel like that was the answer, because although it was plateauing my mood, it wasn't making me feel any better. Like, you know, it wasn't a solution.
No.
So I started to look into mental health myself and started to think about, you know, the reasons that it had happened, what I could do to prevent it again, and blah, blah, blah. And basically, I started playing rugby. So this was in my early 20s, and the more that I got into rugby and started training and being outside and actually looking after myself a little bit, the better I started feeling.
Of course you did.
So I knocked the antidepressants on the head, and then I thought I actually really want to look into the link between moving, eating well, and your mental health. And then that's when I decided to qualify as a personal trainer, get my nutrition badge, and actually correlate it all and educate people in the fact that, you know, you can move, eat well and be outside, and it massively helps your mental health. And that was the catalyst for it. That's why I started my business, and I've always advocated the outdoors, movement, and what you're putting into your body as a huge link to mentally how you're feeling. And and that's basically how it started. And I played rugby for 5 years, and then it got to a point where my business was like, before starting personal training, I was I was the manager of Laura Ashley. Of course I was. So I was managing Laura Ashley. I had a really good boss. We got on really well. So I said to her, look, I don't want to lose my pay grade, but I want to start my own business. Can I drop my hours but stay as a manager? And because we got on so well, she was like, yeah, that's fine. And then eventually, obviously, I got enough clients and enough momentum that I could just completely drop Laura Ashley. And then I went into my business full time, which was obviously scary because I was going from like a wage, a proper wage, to like, shit, you've got to just do this on your own now. So it just went from there really, and it's just absolutely snowballed. And then I had to knock the rugby on the head because it was injury inducing, and my job, obviously, you can't be injured. And it was really time consuming because you're training with the team twice a week, and then it was an entire weekend. So yeah, I just had to give that up, which was really hard because it had been such a big part of my process and change, but I had to make a decision, so yeah.
Maybe you do stuff for S&C wise with ladies rugby and that down your way.
Yeah.
We do work in town lassies, don't we?
Yeah. I do help them with the pre-season and stuff sometimes. So yeah, I still go and watch and things.
Yeah. We at the start of us, and I honestly thought, a bunch of wild lassies, we're fucking hopeless, weren't they? Do you know, they're brilliant.
Absolutely savage.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it, and that's it. A couple of them stayed on. And do you know what, I'm seeing loads now, to be honest, of lassies training harder than lads.
Yeah.
Fucking flabbergasted.
Doesn't shock me.
Do you know though, 30 years ago,
yeah,
when I started training, you did not see that.
Well, girls weren't allowed to play then.
But like just training in general,
just training
at the level now that lassies are at now. Look at the lassies in our spot.
Yeah.
You know, they competed on the Saturday the other week, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like back in London, deadlifting and that.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Some of the lads were like, I'll be having a week off and I'm a bit stiff, and that the lassies were right back at it.
Yeah, they've got drive. Yeah, it's really good to see.
Just 1 second, I'm trying to fucking check that's recording me.
Oh, imagine!
Oh yeah, we're still rolling. Imagine
if you hadn't recorded it. Is it? Can we edit stuff or not?
Yeah, fucking right.
Did you say no swearing?
No,
right. That's really hard. I've been trying to do
don't not swear. So that's good too. In fact, you know, that's covered nearly all of that. So we're going to get to the fun stuff now. Career highlights is a strong one.
Oh!
Go on, tell us all about it.
Oh, that's such a loaded question, like more so than you realise. So my career highlight, Oh, I didn't know we were to talk about it, but I will. We're going deep. My career highlights so far, there's two standout ones really, and I think people, when you get asked that question, people kind of expect you to say the ones where you've made the podium or like you've got really high or you've won the money or whatever else, and it's not that for me. So when I was in my first year of Strongman, which was only last year,
I didn't realise that. I thought you'd been doing it for longer than that.
oh no, so I've only been doing Strongman for 2 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing.
So it was 2023 was my first competition, March 2023.
That's unreal.
And it was, yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous, like
Yeah, it is.
my trajectory. But I did the North of England qualifiers. I've always just done whatever my coach Molly tells me to do. I've never understood Strongman. I never watched it. I still don't. And it's like a running joke within Strongman. Oh, Emma Grunnill, yeah, she never knows what she's doing. And like, that is genuinely, I just turn up and I'll do what I've trained to do, the events. But I don't overthink stuff and I don't like overanalyze things. And I think that plays to my advantage.
Of course it does.
But so I went to this North of England qualifiers and came second, which was ridiculous. And then that qualified me for England's, which was at the Fit Expo in Manchester. So I went there and I think I came 7th, but I absolutely shit myself because I didn't have a clue what was going on. It was like a massive show. There was loads of people watching and I was so nervous and I just like completely shit myself. So I was like, fucking hell, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. And then basically Molly was like, you just need more comp experience. You just need to like dig deep and, you know, push yourself. And then the next thing for me was Europe's. So I, first of all, didn't know how big Europe's was. And I didn't know the setting. I didn't know what it was going to be like. So I did the online qualifier, which I didn't understand. And I remember going to Josh's gym and I just thought we were like training and stuff. And there's quite a few people there. And then people started filming the lifts and like weighing everything. And I remember saying like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand, like, what are we doing? And Becca, who I compete against sometimes, that also gets coached by Molly, turned around and she was like, how are you here? Like, I don't understand how you got to this place without knowing what's going on. Like, how do you not know what's going on? And I was like, oh, genuinely, I just honestly have no idea what we're doing. So then Molly was like, so basically, an online qualifier works like this. And then she had to explain it, because I genuinely just didn't have a clue what was going on. So then Molly was like, right, what we're going to do is film these 3 lifts, and then we have to film you weighing everything to say that it's legit and blah, blah, blah. So at the time, I was like, right, I'll do it, because she told me to do it. I'm not that bothered. You know, if I don't get through to Europe's, it seems like a big deal. Anyway, I did get through, like, I qualified, and then we went to Europe's. Europe's that year was in London, and obviously I had not been competing that long. It was my 3rd competition, and up until that point, so this was August 2023, that year for me had been an incredibly difficult year. And I've never ever actually said this out loud to, there's very few people that know it, so, but 10 months before Europe's, I got beaten up. And that night for me absolutely changed my world. And I was beaten up by my then boyfriend, and it was the most horrendous night of my life. But what unravelled from that night was a lot of realisation that I had obviously been in a very, very unhealthy and manipulative relationship for quite a few years. So from that night, for literally the last 2.5 years, it has been incredibly difficult, because I completely lost who I was from that night. I never expected something like that to happen to me. Like, I've always been this person. I've always been like very strong and headstrong. So for something like that to happen to me, I just couldn't get my head around it. And also, obviously, to go through that anyway was horrendous and scary. And all of that. So for that year particularly, I completely went in on myself, but what happened was I stayed within a very safe bubble of people and I never went out of it. So I would always, wherever I was, be with my dad, my brother, or one of my best friends, somebody that I absolutely trusted and knew. And they came to those first 2 competitions with me, and I didn't really go anywhere. Like, I completely stayed. I moved back in with my dad for a little bit because I was just so scared. And then going to Europe's that year was absolutely massive because it was in London. I was going on my own. Like, no one could really come because obviously it was far away, and actually there was a bit of, at some point you are going to have to do something on your own again.
That's right.
So I went down with Josh and Molly. At the time, like, I wasn't as close with both of them as I am now, but they were still like, you know, I was comfortable to go down with them. But then going to such a big show and being around so many people, and it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. But I, for the first time, genuinely in like 10 months, laughed, and I had such a laugh. And like, I wasn't even bothered about the competing really, because I was just having such a laugh with my mates. And when you get filmed and like you get put in like the athlete holding pen, and then they say like, they're gonna say your name, and then you go out and you wave at the camera and everything else. And all of the footage from that weekend is just the best footage ever because I look so happy. And like, I just thought it was kind of like actually, you know, I'm doing all right. I'm all right. Do you know what I mean? And it was like a real turning point for me. It's been like a very, very difficult process. And it still is. But that particular competition will always be my highlight because it was like a point for me where I realised that I'm actually doing all right. And, you know, like, I'd gone to London on my own, and I remember just coming, I think I actually came 7th, which was decent anyway.
It's amazing, isn't
but
it?
I competed against Donna Moore, and like, that was the first time I'd like competed against her. I think I came like 3rd in the power stairs, the last event. So like, there was loads of highlights from it, but it was just such a big moment for me that whole weekend. So that was like, that will be my career highlight for probably ever. But my second highlight, kind of along the same lines, would be England's this year for a different but the same reason. So the England's this year was a lot different because I was going in as England's strongest woman. So obviously going in with the title gives you a completely different feeling because you don't want to lose it. So all my other competitions I've been like, oh, well, you know, if I come top 5, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I was like, I don't even want top 3. I want to win it. Like, I don't want to lose my title. And for the last kind of 6 months, probably this last 6 months, my prep up to England's basically, I made a decision that I needed to. It's really difficult when something like that happens to you. You put a lot of blame on yourself, and like, you think that, I knew that it wasn't my fault what had happened, but the fact that you can't just get over it, you know, it was so long ago, like, why are you still bothered about it?
It's a huge trauma, that was.
It's insane, and you don't, and I think being somebody like myself who like runs a business to empower other women and be confident, and prior to that I have no fear, like nothing, not
to be honest, that's how you present now. You present as being absolutely unstoppable, mate. You just fucking...
Yeah, I think, it's interesting because I think like, I have massively changed in this last 6 months again. Like, I feel like I'm hugely coming back to who I was, or like even a better version of that. But I am very, very good at putting a front on. Very, very good at putting a front on. And there's not a lot of people in this world that, not that I don't ever put a fake persona on, but there are very few people who really truly know me. Do you know what I mean?
Very open up to.
But for the England's prep, I well, basically, I opened up to somebody and told them absolutely everything that I'd been through, and I hadn't done that ever. No one knew the entire story. And that person said to me, manipulation doesn't just stop in the courtroom. Just because you've walked out of that courtroom and that person's been given that sentence or whatever, been charged, the manipulation is absolutely ingrained in you, and that's going to come out in so many different ways. And nobody had ever put it that way to me before, and I thought, I'd been being so hard on myself, like, why do you keep feeling this way, or why does this keep happening? But actually, yeah, you're absolutely right. There's so many things that have been like put in my head that I don't realise, and you know, that they helped me like hugely, and I'll forever ever be grateful for that. And for that prep up to England's, I just had a different mindset. I was able to let stuff go a lot more. And for the first time when I went to England's, it's funny because I think a lot of people just thought that I was really, really cocky that day, and like, oh, she knows she's going to win it, and like, she's only here because she knows she's going to win it. I never knew that I was going to win it, and I didn't just win it. Like, Jess Tate gave me a run for my money all day, you know, and like Beth Ion, she was absolutely incredible. But what was happening that day was that I walked in to that room without looking over my shoulder for the first time ever. And like, I felt so confident just in myself, like I wasn't scared of anything or anyone. And it was such a nice feeling to go to a competition and feel like, actually, I'm completely untouchable in that way. Awesome. And that it was a huge highlight. And then obviously the fact that I performed like I did and then kept the title was like a cherry on the top. But yeah, so that will be a massive highlight for me as well.
So what about what's coming up next in the amazing career of Emma Grunnill?
Well, because I podiumed 6 out of 6 comps last year, I've been invited to lots of different competitions this year, which is absolutely incredible and is never not going to blow my mind. So I got invited to the Pro Strongman League in Virginia, which I have accepted. That's so awesome, it's absolutely insane. It's insane. So yeah, Virginia Pro Strongman League at the end of May, and it's I'm really enjoying the prep for it because it's so heavy. The competition is like completely maximal for me, awesome. But the preps had to start heavy, and I'm pushing myself like I've never pushed myself before. And the numbers that I'm hitting and things now are insane. Like I shouldered a 120 sandbag yesterday.
That's unreal.
It's ridiculous. I did like, it's absolutely insane. And then the day before,
and that's how, you know, people watch it, that's how if you know, you know. Because if you don't know what a big heavy sandbag feels like, you have no fucking idea.
Yeah, it was a real good moment to get that up.
That's fucking awesome.
It's absolutely savage. And then, yeah, I did manage 120 farmers this week, which is another massive weight. Huge. But they're the weights at PSL. Like, that's what you need to be at. The yoke's 260, you know, like, it is heavy. So it's really, really good. Like, I've got 8 weeks left to be, like, getting up there now. Yeah. And I just, when I first accepted, I was like, it'd be a really good experience. I'm just going to go and, like, give it a go. Whereas now I just think like, actually, I'm not going to place very high, but I can actually really give it a go now. Like I can get up to those weights and, you know, really like put my all into it.
It's experience against
definitely.
In a country, you know, go to a different country and competing against amazing people. And
it's on Virginia Beach, so it's gonna be like so cool. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
But it is like a big boo because we lose you for coming to
I know!
And I wanted you and Bex on the videos because that was
our interviews, they were so good. I know. I am gutted about Cumbria's.
Yeah. What about after Virginia? Is there anything planned after that?
Yeah, my entire year's planned out now because we're being serious. Wow. Proper athlete. So we're going to Europe's. So because I came third in Europe last year, I automatically qualify this year, so that's nice that I don't have to do the qualifier. And then I'm going to the Natural Worlds in Galway. So my ultimate goal this year is I want to win that. I want to become the world's strongest woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I haven't decided, but it would be quite nice to play my hand at OSG Worlds in America at the end of the year. But we'll see how these next 3 big comps go first.
Yeah, I'm convinced you're going to do well already, mate. You'll smash it. You absolutely smash.
We'll see.
So, what about a week's training at the minute? How's a week's training look at the minute?
So training for me is really intense at the moment. So my volume's quite big because of the events at PSL. The yoke, farmers, chain drag is one event. So you're training 3 things, but it's only one event. So there's so much volume to my training plan. So at the moment, on a Monday, I train at my gym, and I do 4 strongman sessions a week, 1 strength and conditioning, and then probably 1 conditioning. Yeah. But sometimes I'll end up doing 5 strongman sessions if I have to split a session because they're so big. So I'll do a strongman session at my gym on a Monday. I'll do strength and conditioning, a coach session on a Tuesday. Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm going down and training with Josh, Hicks and Molly, and doing big sessions Wednesdays and Fridays. Thursdays hit and miss depending where I'm at, either my gym or down in Morecambe. And then if I have to spill over and do more strongman on a weekend, I will. I trained yesterday down at the gym in Morecambe again, and then today, just because I want to do it and I'm up here, I'll probably train later tonight at CSA. So
happy days.
Big weeks.
So how many hours a week do you reckon you put in?
It'll be minimum 18 because my sessions are 3 hours.
Because again, this is the thing. People go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then they see strongman and they think, oh yeah, they go to gym, but it's not just going gym, is it?
No.
You know, again, I obviously see hours done with the lads like Tom and Adam, especially the hours they put in.
Yeah.
You know, like I say,
and they're not as serious as me.
Oh, not anywhere near as good as you, Adam. Not anywhere near.
They'll kill me for saying that. But yeah, no, it is a lot. And the thing that people don't understand either, because they're like, oh, where do you train? Well, 3 days a week I'm training down in Morecambe. It's 35 minutes to get there for me. So that's an hour and 10 minutes before you've even done your 3 hour session.
Yeah, of course it is. That was one of the things about us offering in the field, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The local lads and
It's absolutely ideal that. And obviously I love training up here. I love CSA. I love training with Connor and Adam and stuff. And
we didn't pay for that.
Connor did.
You wouldn't get out of that, would you?
No. It's an hour and a half, obviously, for me over here. Yeah. But I've always been of the mindset that, you train well with the right people, you train well on the right kit, and if you want to hit those goals, you'll travel. You'll go to where you need to go to be able to get those efficient training sessions in. And if, what's the end goal? How important is it? You'll do whatever you've got to do to get to that goal.
Absolutely. Right. So that's the serious stuff.
I'm absolutely dreading this.
So we're going to move on to a swift bit of word association.
Oh, right, what am I not allowed to say?
You can say anything. You can say absolutely anything. No holds barred.
No. This is going to be awful.
So it's got to be the first thing that comes in your head. Are you ready?
No.
Cumberland Strongman Academy.
Best place in the world.
Strongman.
Hard.
Strength.
Savage.
Killer whales.
Tasty.
Winning.
Ooh. Respect.
Sandbags.
Favourite.
Refereeing.
People hate you for it.
Me Jumper.
Oh, could be better people.
Bill Casmain.
Who? No, I know who. Bill Casmain. I've got a really fucking funny story about him. You want to hear it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He's dead old, isn't he now?
It's taking on a bit, I think, yeah.
He's the oddest person I've ever met.
Brilliant.
And we were at a show. This is so fucking funny. We were at a show. He says the most random shit. He called at Europe's last year. He was commentating and he called Rhiannon, what's her name? Lovely. Wait, what's her name?
Lovelace.
Is that right?
Yeah.
From Chaos, yeah.
Yeah.
He called her a porn star on the mic as we walked out. We were all like, but we were at this show, right? It was the Nations one, and he was commentating. It was the wildest thing ever, and there was loads of children like in a box, and they were raising money for it, and they were basically terminally ill children watching the show, and they were having a great time. And he went on the microphone. This is how absolutely opposite he is. So he went on the microphone and he was saying about this charity and whatever else, and he looked up at the box on the microphone in front of like hundreds of people and went, "Never give up hope though, because you never know what's going to happen." And we were like, "They're terminally ill." And we were just looking at each other like, this guy needs to not be on the microphone anymore. So that's what comes to my mind when you say
I'm so pleased that he meant the least. Only 2 actual strongmen meant the least. He was just the top of my head because I always thought he was awesome. World's strongest man.
World's strongest man. I'd like to become world's strongest woman one day.
Adam Rumney.
Small.
Salt baths.
Sucking the water out of them.
And that concludes the word association now.
That was so stressful.
It's the quickfire questions now.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and hey.
Are these off of people that have messaged you?
Nah, I made all these up myself. They're all fucking useless as well. It's one person chipped in.
I feel like the quickfire stuff I'm not good at.
Are you composed now?
Just about.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Savage, strong, funny.
Favourite country and why?
America, particularly New Jersey, because I lived there for a little bit and it's the best.
Things you hate about Strongman?
Things what?
You hate about Strongman?
Drugs.
If you could have any animal for a pet, what would you have?
I'd have a lioness. That's my favourite animal.
Favourite song?
Ooh, favourite song? Favourite song? Oh my god, this is only Quickfire. So, I have a favourite song at the moment. My overall, well, Sung to Me by Zach Bryan.
Biggest bellend you know in Strongman?
You don't want to know who just came to my head.
You've got to see it, you've got to see it. It's the rules. It's the rules.
I can't. Forgiven. Biggest bellend. Well, like in the big.
That means it's someone that we both the Cumbrian Strongman community is very small. And that's someone we both. It's someone we both know well. You know, yeah.
I think the biggest bellend in Strongman at the moment is the Stoltman fella.
Luke?
Yeah, I think he's right cock.
Well, the cheating on the missus thing.
Yeah, that, and I just don't believe he stands by his morals.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
No, do you know what? The missus are exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were eating the other day, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, Adam messaged me about it, and I was like, couldn't give a shit, Adam.
That's absolutely same, man. Well, yeah. What would you do if you didn't do a Strongwoman?
I'd probably be a professional rugby player.
What's your hidden mystery talent?
In mystery talent?
So random.
In mystery talent, what am I good at? In mystery talent. I don't actually know.
Sort of a strong woman, talentless. Good job, she can lift heavy things. Person to be stuck on a desert island with.
Bear Grylls.
Hangover cure.
Well, I don't actually drink, but
No, you did.
I did drink, yeah. Hangover cure, when I drank. Do you know what my hangover cure was, right? Well, back in the day when I was absolute big drinker, it'd be standard, like McDonald's, big breakfast, getting back on the beers. That'd absolutely be the cure. Yeah.
What did you want to be when you were a little girl?
I always wanted to be a I always wanted to be something in sport, you know.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be. I would always be wanting to do every sport that I could do, but it was very difficult when your family is not into sport. You're like pushing them to take you here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, I always wanted to be something in sport.
Best day of your life?
Well, best day of my life. There's a particular standout best day actually, and it was the Women's Rugby World Cup in Paris, and me and the rugby team went, and me and my best friend were there, Emma Rowley, and we were sat on the halfway line, and we all had pints of lager. We were in Paris, and England scored, and it was England versus Canada, and then it was France versus somebody, and there was loads of French behind us, and we were like absolutely smashed, and I just remember continuously shouting, Allez le bleu! And I just remember like these French behind us like, shut the fuck up, and I'd just be like, Allez le bleu! And I just remember looking at Rolly, and I just in that moment just thought, I am so fucking happy right now.
Favourite food?
Favourite food, steak.
Best looking person in Strongman?
You?
Trying to get you to say that. Cop out. Biggest fear?
Butterflies.
Most treasured item?
Can I say pig?
Yeah, of course you can. Of course
Pig,
you can.
obviously.
Favourite sport outside of rugby, innit?
Yeah,
Outside of
rugby,
Strongman?
yeah.
Biggest fear?
Biggest fear? What was that other one? Because I thought you were asking that.
Oh, I thought I wrote down twice.
And you said it so much more dramatically that time.
Most disgusting thing you've ever done?
That's a lot of fucking weird shit.
Dig deep.
Most disgusting thing I've ever done. Oh, fuck me. I don't... I didn't actually do this, but I witnessed it. Can I say that?
Yeah, go on.
So we were on down in Newquay, 18 to 30s campsite, and it was absolute carnage. And there was some, this is absolutely awful. I was always the person that encouraged anything, and I still am, because I just think it's so funny when stupid shit happens. So we were on this campsite, it was 18 to 30s, and there was a bunch of lads turned up in a horse box, and they dropped the back of the horse box, and they just had loads of blow-up mattresses and a proper DJ booth in there. So we set our tents up opposite them, and obviously it became absolute chaos, like it was such carnage. And then this handful of girls turned up, and they were real girls, you know, real prissy girls, and I was thinking, you don't want to set your tent up here, pal. And anyway, they did. And they hated us. They absolutely hated us because we just didn't give a shit. Like, we were absolutely leathered the whole time. And anyway, they were trying to complain. 18 to 30s campsite, and they were putting complaints in about us. So I was like, listen, girls, this isn't okay. We need to do something about it. And one of the lasses that we were with is a bit savage, and she doesn't really give a shit. And she went, do you know what I can do? I can shit on the tent. So obviously I was like, fucking great idea. So in the middle of the night, we orchestrated, this is awful, I can't believe this is going to go out into the world. She went and shit on the front of the tent. And it was like, we thought it was, if this happened now, I'd be disgusted, by the way. This is like, we live different lives, don't we? Like, I'm not this person anymore. But anyway, the next morning, we were all like, I don't even think we'd been to sleep, we're all in the tent, and we're just like all sat there, like, waiting for them to get up. And she unzips the front of the tent, and all we heard was, oh my god, a dog shit on it. And honestly, I have never laughed so much in my life. It was so funny. That was a lot of years ago. I'm not this person anymore.
We won't judge. So, last thing.
Yeah.
Emma Grunnill's top 5 hits.
Oh, you bastard!
You walked yourself into it.
Fuck. Right. Right, before I say these, everyone just needs to remember that everyone's allowed their own opinion, okay?
100%.
And if anyone's going to judge me on these, then you need to, that's your problem. Okay. So my top 5 hates, and they're fairly non-negotiable.
Great. Fucking brilliant.
The first one is COVID.
Yeah, fucking brilliant.
The second one is cats. The third one is people that join unions.
That's how I love how we've got this, you know already right off, so you've never had to think about anything.
They're very non-negotiable. The fourth one is, it's so unreasonable. People that put the green pea sign on the cattle in the first place. What the fuck is the point? And the fifth one is vegans.
Johnny, Alice Coe, they're once told not to watch. If you're watching this, fuck off, we don't want you.
Oh no, there you go then.
So yeah, it's unanimous.
I'm
No
just glad that
problem.
you're asking me so we can elaborate on them.
No, that'll do. Right, that's brilliant. Emma, that has been an absolute fucking hoot. We'll have to do that again. Good luck for everything you've got this year.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure you'll absolutely smash, mate.
Thanks for having me on.
Right, cheers guys. That was awesome, mate. Thank you. Brilliant. This is where it's
Fucking
not
hell.
good so off.
That was
fucking
literally
brilliant. That was a
the
hoot.
funniest thing
Was that
ever.
your first podcast?
Yeah. Oh no, I went on the